Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today I wanted to just let you guys know that I'm feeling a little better. I took a couple of days off because I wasn't feeling too good, but I'm back and I feel better. And I wanted to do something over the weekend to make me feel a little better, give me a little pick-me-up. And as you guys know, Annabelle Creation is probably my favorite movie from the Conjuring Universe, and I really love it. I don't know, I mean, it makes me sad, but it's also like, I don't know, I feel like it's just a really good movie. It's a really good start to how Annabelle became, and I really love all the actors in it, and especially Janice. I've talked about her before. I really have like a soft spot in my heart for her because she just was dealt the worst cards that anybody could have. Like, she was an orphan, she had polio, she was like paralyzed in one of her legs, and she just was like the main victim of this demon throughout the whole movie. She was just tormented by this demon throughout the whole movie, and it eventually possessed her, took over her body, and controlled her until the very day she died, which was like suicide 12 years later. And that is the start of the actual Annabelle movie. And I always did feel really bad for the character. I really empathized with that character. But another character in that movie that I really feel bad for is Linda, who is Janice's best friend, played by Lulu Wilson. And I really thought about this the other night, and I thought one thing I always pay attention to when I watch that movie is the final scene when you see Linda and like the rest of the girls on the bus, and they're leaving the house because Mr. and Mrs. Mullins have died, and there's nobody left. And all the orphans and Sister Charlotte, the nun, get back on the bus and head on out of there. Like, they have to go look for somewhere else to live because the Mullins are dead. And on that final bus scene, you see Linda sitting in the same seat that she was sitting on at the start of the movie with Janice, and she's sitting in the window seat, so she's looking out the window. That's how the movie starts. It's like her looking out the window, and Janice is sitting next to her playing with one of those little, you know, the four-fold thing that, like, you open the flap and you pick a number and stuff like that. She's playing that with Linda, and it's really sad when you look at the start of the movie and the girls are like, Linda's a little bit down, and Janice says to her, "What's wrong?" And she says, "I just wish we were going to a new home together, me and you, instead of a new orphanage." And they start talking about how they make this little promise that one day, if they ever get adopted, that they will stick together and they will like not leave each other, and that they want to be like sisters. They want it to be, if someone wants one of them, they have to have both of them. They come as a package deal kind of deal. That's what they made. I guess Janice is a little older, and Linda really looks up to her, really cares about her. She really looks at Janice like she's an older sister, I guess. And so throughout the whole movie, Linda's really concerned about Janice, really worried about her. She's also worried about getting adopted and Janice not being there. She said, "I don't want to go anywhere, you're not." And even one of the sweetest scenes in the whole movie is when like Janice has to stay downstairs because her legs fucked, and she's just been like thrown down the stairs by the demon the night before, and so she has to sleep on the couch in the living room. And Linda's sitting on the couch with her, and they're talking and they're reminiscing about like old times at the other orphanage that they came from, and how they used to sneak around at night and eat food in the pantry and stuff like that, and chocolate, and they were laughing and having fun. And they decide, because Linda's a little afraid to go back upstairs and sleep alone, that they would swap dolls. And so Linda gives her doll, which is Sweet Sue, and Janice gives Linda Janice's doll, which is Becca. And they make this little swap, and Janice says, "Now I'll always be with you." And it's so fucking sad. Especially at the end scene when the bus is leaving again and it's just Linda on the bus, and she's sitting in that same seat looking out the window, and you can kind of see that she's like scanning the fields with her eyes, just looking to see if there's any sign of her friend out there. But she never ever saw her ever again, and that was really what made it sad. And then the camera like pans down and she's still holding Janice's Becca doll, and it's so fucking heartbreaking. But I always did wonder, and Lulu Wilson's an amazing actor. They both played those roles very well. Still trying to get Lulu Wilson to notice me on Instagram. Not having much luck yet, but I got to leave the Bateman to like my comment a bunch of times, so that's cool. But Lulu Wilson was also in Ouija, about the Ouija board and stuff like that. She's really good. She has the look. There's a look to her that just really fits well with horror movies. Not to say like she's bad looking or anything like that. Like she's got a really cute face. She's not like scary or looks weird or anything. She just has like a look, and she's like got this like, it's her expressions, I guess. Like she has the wide eyes thing, and she does that thing quite often where she's like, and she's got the, I don't know, there's something about her that really goes well with the horror movies. And every time I've seen her in a horror movie, especially in Ouija, I've only ever seen her in those two, but she's been great in both. It got me thinking the other day, like, I wonder what, like, I was trying to think more outside of the movie. What happened to Linda? Like, we know what happened to Janice. Nobody ever heard from her ever again, but she ended up in a different orphanage with a new name. I guess nobody ever knew where she came from. She just kind of appeared in this orphanage as Annabelle. She was no longer Janice, she was Annabelle. And then she got adopted by a couple, which leads to 12 years later, when the whole incident with the beginning of the first movie took place. But it made me think about Linda. What happened to Linda? What did she grow up thinking about, like, about Janice? Did she ever go try to look for her? Did she ever look into it? Did she ever, I don't know, does she still have the Becca doll? Does she miss Janice? Did she ever go back to the house where the Mullins lived to try to find out what it was? Did she ever come in contact with the Annabelle doll again? Like, this is something that I was thinking about, and it could be an amazing spin-off, or I guess you could say a prequel to just Annabelle, because the Conjuring Universe kind of goes off and all over the place anyway. The timeline is kind of confusing, so it does kind of go forward and backward a lot. But it made me think about, like, just specifically Annabelle Creation, they could make a sequel to Annabelle Creation, but revolving Linda being the main character. And because I'm assuming now, I mean, that was like 5 years ago. So I've seen her on Instagram. She looks like she's probably like 20 now, I guess. I don't really know how old she is, but she looks much older. So she looks like a young adult. And I guess if they wanted to, they could make a movie about her and trying to researching the Annabelle doll, finding out about it, going to confront it, trying to face her fear of going back to that doll, or even going back to the Mullins house, and trying to sort of, I don't know, trying to look for ways to contact Janice, I guess, and try to find out, because it's something that I wondered about. And I know it's all a movie and it's fictional, but this is the kind of thing I do. I think more outside of what's just the movie. And I was really thinking about it, and I thought, you know, considering they were like sisters, I don't think Linda would just, you know, go on with her life. I don't think it would go like that. Putting myself in her shoes, if I had lost Janice like that, and she was like a sister to me, I would, especially when I became an adult, with all those memories of what happened as a child at that orphanage, I would definitely want to find out why that happened, or what happened to her. I would want to find out what was responsible. And if I were lucky enough, I would try to find her. But I don't know. I mean, obviously she can't find Janice now because Janice is dead. But Janice just seemed to cease to exist. Because even when she was like older, 12 years later, when she killed herself, she was no longer Janice. She was down. All her records and everything like that would have been down as Annabelle Higgins, not even Mullins. So there would be no record of this child whatsoever. So I guess it would be very hard to, like, especially because this took place in like the 1950s and 60s, this timeline, it would have been very hard to like trace her, I guess. But it's something that really caught my attention, and I was thinking about it. I was talking about it to a friend, and I thought I would love to know whatever became of Lulu Wilson's character. Like Linda, I would love to know what happened after that. I would also love to know what happened with the rest of the orphans too. Like, where did they go right after that? Because Sister Charlotte said many times throughout that movie that they were in desperate need of somewhere to stay, and they had to stay at the Mullins. Like, they had nowhere else to go. She says that multiple times through the movie. So obviously when Mr. and Mrs. Mullins die and the house is like vacant and the orphans can no longer stay there, where did they go when they got on that bus at the end? Where were they going? Like, that's what I would love to know. But I don't know, I really would love to know what happened more to Linda after that experience. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think of that? What is your theories on what happened to Linda and the rest of the girls? Do you think they went to a different orphanage? Did they go and stay somewhere else? Did Linda ever grow up and try to locate Janice and try to find out what happened to her, maybe not biological sister, but her like spiritual sister, like somebody she grew up with, somebody she looked towards, her best friend? Like, I want to know what happened. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Hey, I'm curious to hear your theories if you've seen that movie. Smash a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and chase your dreams.